What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. And of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below.
Hell yeah. Let's go, guys. This is Cowboys. OTAs were done last 2 weeks. Now we're at the mandatory minicamp day 2, night 2 now. And we got some Texas Coast here. We'll explain that in a minute. A new player on our defensive edge, side of on our team, on our roster. Brandon Cooks cooking out there with Dak, some Texas Coast, I guess you could say. And then some concern about CeeDee Lamb. We'll discuss that and more here tonight on My Cowboys Family. Much more, actually. So, baby, before we get even rolling here, everyone hit the like, the subscribe, the notification bell, all that good stuff. Let's shout out those that are literally here, keeping the thing going on the nightly here in My Cowboys Family. Those that run the stream here, the sponsor of the week, and same guys, the Cash App King,
David S.
Much love to David S.
I appreciate you, of course, representing there on both sides of the board.
Hell yeah.
And speaking of representation, the man Marco Seppian is still bossing that stream around with 48 points. He kind of re-upped himself a little bit last night.
He dropped into the 40s, low 40s, then it went to the 50s, and he's floating to the 48 right now. Why? Well, first and foremost, the man staying skeptical fan, much love to him. He dropped a pre-stream membership gifting. So he gifted a membership, and who got that lucky membership today?
It was Joe Martinez.
Yeah, congratulations, Joe Martinez. A month of free membership here at MCF. You got the emojis. We just added a couple new ones in there. Have fun with that. Skeptical fan in first place on the overall board. He's coming for that sponsor of the week, but he's also last month's gifting winner. I guess the king of the gifting, and that was 24 of them. This month, he just dropped his 21st gift, and it's only what? Not even 10 days here in the month. So much love the man staying skeptical. First place on the overall board. First place on this month's gifting board. June, the month of June's gifting board. And also, baby, the star level memberships. You know who they are. The star level and the over everything's. You got Skeptical Fan. You got Dwayne Broussard. You got LC from Australia. Much love to Lincoln Kane. And, of course, Mary Alvarez. So much love to you four. Repping the top spots here on our membership board. And by the way, you're wondering about the Cash App, baby. In the Cash App, there's still no one in this week's Cash App board. So right now, it's completely open. It's empty. So other ways to drop the love outside of Super Chats, going into the membership and gifting memberships. You see 4 other ways here to do that. And we talk about that Cash App King. We'll take those first 3 and fold them all up, because that's what determines who's the Cash App King, whoever drops the most through there in a week. And what are those 3? And then, of course, the 4th way of dropping love through these other formats.
Mr. MCF mentioned one of them already, the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family. You have the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. Your regular PayPal link. And last but not least, the Streamlabs, which lets your message show up right here on screen like a super chat.
That's right. And then, of course, all these things, it's commercial break, the commercial intro. But, baby, we got to now go to the family, back to the family in the chat, because they're repping it here in the house. And we got to know what they want to talk about. And they want to get into the discussion of tonight's Day 2 recap and all the other info, news, and updates here of our Dallas Cowboys tonight here on My Cowboys Family. Now, baby, who's in the house tonight? Let's do them shout-outs.
We have El Monte King. Hello and hi. Andy and Boogie in the house. What's up?
Boogie on down.
Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett.
Always superior.
Mary Roberts. Hello and hi. Thanks for coming through. The top dog himself, Dwayne Broussard. Thank you, by the way, for the pre-stream.
Yes.
$4 classic Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Much love to the top dog, Dwayne Broussard. Sub it up to his channel. And also, Dwayne Broussard, he's still in the running here. I think he's in 4th place. He dropped that 4 on it. He's in 4th place on the overall board. 3rd or 4th place, actually. So much love to him, Dwayne Broussard. Sorry about that quick, it was a pre-stream drop on that one. So
thank you again to Skeptical Fan coming through. Hopefully you have a great night. Joe Martinez, of course. Raymond Solis, hello. Mike Aldana, much love. Let me see. Yeah, obviously the Madden curse doesn't affect some, or some don't believe in the Madden curse as much as others, right? Jason Renfro representing. Much love to you.
Hey, that Cash App is fully open for Jason Renfro to come and get that crown.
Toxic Juice, hello. We have Clausen Boy, what's up? Freedom First, hello and hi.
Hey, he was first today.
Rolando Rodriguez, all the way from South Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something there. But yeah, I think that's everyone here so far. So, guys, let me go ahead and hand it right off to Mr. MCF.
Yeah. Let's get it rolling here tonight. Let's get it rolling here. And again, we're going to get to the practice. We're going to get into CeeDee Lamb. We're going to get into all that stuff. But first, let's get into the NFL news. You guys started off already with the Madden curse, Madden 24. As we said literally 3-4 days ago, Josh Allen was going to be, the Buffalo Bills going to be the cover boy of Madden 24. Not a surprise. We announced this 3 or 4 days ago. Today was announced officially. Josh Allen becomes the first Bills player to be displayed on the Madden cover and the 8th quarterback since 2001. I don't think there's never been a Cowboy on the cover. I think T.O. for like some kind of special edition, but we've never had a Cowboy. The Bills have a guy on the Madden cover. We've never had a Cowboy on the Madden cover. Yeah. You know what we need? We need a Cowboy on the Madden cover. You know why? Because it's the reverse of the curse, I think. For us, we've been having 25 years of misery. Now we need maybe...
we'd be the only team to have the opposite situation where you put one of us on the cover,
win the Super Bowl.
We'll win a Super Bowl that year. So, you know what? That's probably why it hasn't happened, baby.
It's a combination of that and Jimmy Johnson.
True. So, no, cracking me up here. So, and hey, look, good for Josh Allen. Wishing you the best. But, for your sake, I hope the Madden curse isn't real.
How about this? We let him get to the Super Bowl and then lose to the Cowboys. That's what I'm down with.
I can live with that.
We all will live with that. Oh, by the way, something we're going to all live with here. The man, Jason Renfro. He must have been listening here, guys, because Jason Renfro just jumped into the lead on the Cash App with dropping a simple dollar holler.
Woo!
And a simple Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Jason.
Never simple when you're dealing with our Cowboys. Appreciate that, Jason Renfro. And now, again, I think he's like last on the board, on the overall board right now, but he's first on the Cash App, believe it or not, with that dollar holler. So
there you go. So, Monty King said, my boy put on some weight. I haven't seen you with the beard. It's been a while, but love you guys and stay blessed.
Who was that?
Thank you. No, just saying that you put on a little bit of...
Oh, yeah, a little heft.
Yes. So,
who said that? I just said...
Monty King.
Oh, Monty King. Okay. It's been a while, hasn't it?
So, no, again, thanks for rolling by. I think most of us are feeling a little plumper post-pandemic. Just throwing that out there. So instead of the freshman 15, it was the COVID 15.
I don't mind adding the extra poundage for me. But
I don't mind it either.
Anyways, appreciate that, by the way. And again, I wanted to shout out Jason Renfro one more time, the Go Cowboys, and
Lost
the leader.
Translation, much love to you. Hello and hi. So,
let's keep it going.
Like you said, talking about Josh Allen. Let's go ahead and move past.
Well, actually, I wasn't saying about Madden, though. I'm moving past Josh Allen. Yeah. We actually talked about his interceptions. I mean, worse than Dak in the last 3 years. I know people think that, Dak's the worst at throwing picks. No, Josh Allen's actually worse, but he's on the cover of Madden. Anyways, the Madden, announcement today of Josh Allen being on the cover is one thing, but it was I guess you could say the first glance, the first glimpses of the Madden 24 game. Now, to me, it looks like the same Madden game we've been seeing for the last 5 years. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this. And since we're not really doing our Madden simulations, it seems like this on this channel anymore. If we do, we'll of course pick up Madden 24. But outside of that, I really don't have a use for that game. Let me know if you guys are going to pick it up. But also, I wanted to make a mention of the advertisement that they kicked it off with today. Trayvon Diggs was on a major part of the commercial where he was shown picking off, intercepting Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, and then Micah Parsons running down the field, knocking Kirk Cousins on his ass, talking crap to Kirk Cousins when he got back. Micah is in his face. Trayvon celebrating the touchdown. That was about a 10-second clip from the Cowboys' perspective, I guess, of the Cowboys, the only Cowboys we've seen in the commercial. Instead of just saying like that, that's what we saw. It was like a 2-minute commercial, but the Cowboys had about a 15-second clip there. So I know some people like that. Like Cowboy fans are out there going to buy it now because of that. Come on, I'm not. I mean, I'll get it for the Madden simulations. Outside of that, let's be real. It's kind of been low budget for a long amount of years, decades.
Yeah, they
actually,
haven't really added anything.
Yeah, in the last half decade, they definitely haven't added anything new to it. In my opinion, not much. And it was 10 years ago. They were already losing some of that steam. You already were teetering out by the turn of the century, so to speak. So look, it is what it is. So. On other news, outside of Madden 24, which is, football gaming news, free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, everyone's talking about him. Hey, should we go after? Hey, now I went with the CeeDee Lamb situation. We'll talk about that. Of course, you guys probably already know about his injury or suspected injury. But the point here is, a lot of people are saying, well, we don't have, that if we lose a receiver like CeeDee Lamb, for example, we should have DeAndre Hopkins there just to load him right in there. But we know now officially DeAndre Hopkins is flying to Nashville on Sunday for a visit with the Tennessee Titans. And D-Hop, Mike Vrabel, both guys were together in Houston. Remember that they were together there in Houston. So Vrabel's team now with the Tennessee Titans gets the first visit with DeAndre Hopkins out of any team right now. Again, released by the Cardinals.
Have connections,
yeah, DeAndre Hopkins released by the Cardinals. 5-time Pro Bowl pick up from the Cardinals and from Houston, and we know the history there. So, anyways, that's the DeAndre Hopkins update. Cowboys nowhere to be found, as it probably is, as I'm fine with that, and as it should be expected, at least in my humble opinion. Now,
yeah, look, we knew D-Hop was never going to come to Dallas, so it's all right. It is what it is. Good luck over in Detroit or no Tennessee.
Yeah, well, again, that's his first visit. We don't know if he's going to get some other visits in there, but.
Big Flog 91 cracks me up. He's like, all you got to do is lead the league in turnovers and lose after 2 picks at home in the playoffs, and then you get on the Madden card.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. So, hey, Dak still hasn't done that. So, anyways, I hear you guys. It doesn't seem like it fits, right? But, the narrative, they're all both great. They're both top 10 quarterbacks. It's the narrative about Dak, the difference between Dak and someone like Josh Allen. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. I don't want to think what it could be, if you know what I mean. But I definitely don't understand how people can't see that Dak Prescott. Some people say he's not even a professional quarterback. Are you freaking kidding me? What's wrong with you guys? To me, he's a top 10 quarterback. He's not elite. He's not top 3 or top 5. But he is a top 10 quarterback. And if you get better coaching, watch out. I think you can get a guy like him with the guys around him into a top 5 quarterbacking kind of mindset. We'll see. We shall see. Now, McCarthy's up to you. We'll talk about this as throughout the week. The night, the week, the month, the year of our football team this year, because I do think McCarthy and Dak is going to make a big difference on offense together with that Texas Coast offense. We'll talk about that. Now, Connor Williams, maybe a center from a guard from the Cowboys, who now is a center for the Dolphins and skipping mandatory minicamp. Right now, guys, he's skipping everything, right? He skipped today as well. He wants a new contract. Connor Williams is going to cost himself $93,000 by continuing to skip the Miami Dolphins mandatory mini camp. So he's pushing for a new deal. But right now, the $93,000, that's long. There's no way you can replenish that back in some kind of contract and say, let me get my fine back.
Yeah, teams used to be able to, basically waive those fines or mess, play around with some of those numbers. Yeah, but now with the last CBA, you can't really do anything about it.
And the reasoning is because the team used to apply the fines now, and the team could then withdraw the fines and kind of play that game.
But now it's the NFL.
The last 3 years put the fines out, and no one can excuse that except for the NFL, and they won't. They don't, and they never will.
Well,
so
that's how they make their money.
No more. Well, it's not just that. There's also no more, leeway for players to really take, to kind of use their sitting out, trying to hold out, so to speak. They can't use that anymore because now they don't get that money back. That's lost money. And, that will discourage most players from holding out. Now, Connor Williams, he's costing himself right now. He's not going to skip training camp. I'm going to tell you that right now. But by missing this, he's missing almost $100,000. Not a big deal if he gets a big contract. But the bigger thing is that he ain't going to be skipping out on training camp. Trust me, that's going to cost him $1 million or more. So he's not going to skip out on training camp. So right now, he's making his point. I guess good luck to him. Who knows? Now, I also want to say one last thing. So we're talking Bills here. I know every night we're talking something Bills. It's crazy. Former Vikings cornerback Cameron Dantzler. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Cowboys either picked him up for free did we pick him up as a practice squad player last year during the season? I don't remember. But Cameron Dantzler has now been signed by the Buffalo Bills, former Vikings draft pick. They signed him to a 1-year deal today. And, just wanted to keep you guys updated on that side of things, NFL news-wise. Now, let's go to our guy, because we did sign someone today, guys. Yes, we did. He's right there on your screen, former Indianapolis Colts defensive edge rusher. I'll talk about him in a minute, because, again, you might say, well, is this guy going to be another guy that's going to push for an edge spot on this team, blah, blah, blah. No. Again, practice squad. Remember, we were talking about dropping a guy off our team, filling him up with, replacing him with somebody else we pick up in a free agency. This is what Stephen Jones talked about 2 days ago. So, the Cowboys today signed former TCU defensive edge rusher, defensive end from hometown. He's a hometown Texas guy. His name is Ben Banogu. All right, he's a graduate of Prosper High School. He grew up in North Texas. He was drafted by the Colts in the second round. He was drafted 49th overall in the 2019 draft. Of course, like I said, out of TCU. 27 years old. So not a bad risk on a 27-year-old guy who has, by the way, a relative athletic score of 9.71 out of 10. Fantastic. One of the better athletic guys coming out of the 2019 draft, and really a high elite and athletic ability when it comes to this 27-year-old guy, Ben Banogu. So now you look at his, again, he played out his entire rookie contract in Indianapolis, all 4 years. He appeared in 50 games over those 4 seasons, both on defense and, of course, for somebody coming in at that end of the roster spot there, special teams. All right, in 2022, he recorded 10 tackles in 16 games. I mean, that's pretty bad. Only 10 tackles, 16 games. Again, not much usage. I'll explain the way the Cowboys the way the Cowboys will be using him will be different than the way the Colts have used him. And I'll explain that this is a beneficial thing for the Cowboys with a practice squad at the very least. Maybe he sneaks under 53 somehow. But there's a chance under Dan Quinn that maybe he gets something out of him. Again, the Colts, they decided to use Banogu at the Sam linebacker position at first. All right? And within weeks, they said, hell no, we can't do that. And then he's been back to the defensive edge rushing spot ever since. Over the last 2 years, he's disappeared from the Colts, guys. He hasn't been around for the last couple of years as far as getting snaps. Like I said, only 10 tackles in 16 games last year with the Colts. Now, Matt Eberflus, former Cowboy linebacker coach, now, of course, head coach of the Colts, he did note that at one point, Ben Banogu was slated to be one of the Colts NASCAR package specialists. The NASCAR package, that's where everyone's kind of standing up and they're kind of coming from every angle.
I was going to say, I'm like, what does that mean?
Well, we've used that, and we've used that here in Dallas multiple times. You see them with we call it the amoeba, and they call it NASCAR.
That's why I said I've never heard it called NASCAR package. Like, obviously,
they kind of brushed up on that, the Cowboys, a little bit last offseason about calling it. They dropped different names. NASCAR, amoeba. There's all these other names they got for it.
Like I said, I just haven't heard it before.
Yeah, but the NASCAR package is basically, 4 defensive linemen all kind of standing up and kind of walking around a little bit, kind of, they know where they're going to go, trying to keep the offensive line guessing. Eberflus runs this kind of front as well at times. And this player here in the middle of your screen, Ben Banogu, was supposed to be one of those guys. He was slated to be that specialist. But here's the crazy part, guys. Again, and this NASCAR kind of alignment from or scheme by Matt Eberflus was actually supposed to be used primarily in 2-minute situations at the end of the half. So he was going to get at least, 10 snaps a game. I don't know, 15 snaps in a game maybe, right? Well, at no point last year did Banogu ever see more than 14 snaps total in a game. I said 10 to 15. Now, he hasn't seen 14 ever last year, all right? Or more than 14. So, again, as he wasn't used, you also realize that the pass rush for the Colts faded as well down the stretch. Not saying that's Ben's job, doing because he wasn't there, but I do think that the whole defensive line pass rush plan was not very good for the Colts last year. Again, 27 years old, a 9.71 RAS score, relative athletic score. Again, let me reiterate this: not a bad player to gamble on when you're lining him up with one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, in Dan Quinn. So let's see what we can get out of him. At best, he's a special teams depth player on our 53-man roster. The probability is he'll be on the practice squad if he can make this team. The Cowboy roster now, out of 90 players, we went from 88 yesterday to 89. We're 89 players right now, almost tapped out. We got one spot open on our 90-man roster right now. So that's the deal. Any quick thoughts on him, baby, or from the chat about Ed Banugu?
No, not about him specifically, and obviously there's some discussion is happening already in regards to CeeDee Lamb's injury and all that.
We'll get that. Let me keep it going here. We'll catch up to CeeDee Lamb in a minute, but first let me take off Banugu here and just really quickly talk about, this is a bit more of a McCarthy moment here, guys, because McCarthy, we know he loves analytics. Right? We came to Dallas with that mindset. But here's the deal, guys. The Cowboys today, this could be one of the biggest hirings. Yeah, I said hiring. Not a signing. Hiring. In a while for the Cowboys on their coaching staff. Cowboys are hiring a gentleman named John Park.
All right. What does he do?
Connected to the Colts here, believe it or not. He's from the Colts. He's from the Indianapolis Colts. He was their chief analytics guy. I'll talk about that in a minute. But he now has been hired by the Cowboys as the director of strategic football operations by the Dallas Cowboys. Park was a director of football research with the Colts. He had been with the Colts since 2016. This, again, our scouting department with Will McClay is fantastic. Now we just added another guy dealing with these analytics who's a known guy in the NFL. And we just got better, believe it or not, in our scouting department. This move by the universal nerd community, they love this guy. Like they love this guy. They got like statues of this guy, it feels like, because this guy is one of the greatest of statistical analytics in the history of recent analytics, right?
Yeah, so you remember how McCarthy obviously basically revamped our entire analytics room, right? Yeah. And we kind of made a few changes.
Yeah, we fired the guy. Well. We fired the head, and now we replaced him with this John Park, who's 10 times better. I'm telling you this. His academic credentials for John Park, remarkable. Duke undergraduate, Columbia grad school. He's every bit as sharp as the resume suggests. It's not just he just got by. He's a genius over there, and he knows his numbers. His science degree from Columbia helped land his consulting job with the international auditing firm Prince Waterhouse Coopers. It was very important work. While it wasn't fulfilling for him, though, and he made that clear. And that's the reason why he made the move to the Colts, right? His title is manager of football research and strategy. He played football in high school, felt a calling to return to the game through his friends who worked in the sport, and then he landed an opportunity at Rutgers in what he describes as essentially a graduate assistant role. This role led a stint basically in the NFL's player engagement department, where John Park was able to build a network of contacts around the league. Given his background with statistics and analytics, the Colts in 2016 hired him as their first full-time analytics staffer, and he's been fantastic with them. Now, he wasn't fired. The Cowboys hired him away. We poached him away from the Colts. Let me just say one last thing about this guy. Huge resource for the GM in Indianapolis, Chris Ballard. He frequently deployed this Mr. Park here to go on key projects for the Colts, including a big role in this year's coaching search. Now, the Colts also recently lost George Lee, another analytics guy in their squad there. He handled game management and strategy. He joined Frank Reich in Carolina with the Panthers. So both the analytics guys who are known to be monsters in the analytics, one went to Carolina, the other one, parked in Dallas, and now he's a Cowboy, helping our analytical staff kind of, scout even better. And I think we got this is an underrated signing that a lot of you guys might not even know what's going on with this. Trust me, it may make a bigger difference than we all think. We'll see what happens. So I just didn't know if you had heard about that. And when it comes to McCarthy,
I had heard about the move, but I hadn't realized the type of knowledge or impact that he could have. In my mind, it's just, we're kind of rebuilding the, analytic team that we kind of disbanded a little bit.
I think we're more than rebuilding it, we're upgrading it. It feels like, right?
There we go. So, real quick, Leandro from Conda said, man, I can do it. So, Mike Aldana said, PwC, very prestigious, select company to work for. So, again, just lets you know not to start attaching caliber to things like that, right? Because sometimes titles are just titles. But in this case, this does show as a reflection of the type of talent and intelligence and the kind of maybe impact that he can have in our analytic room, especially now that it sounds like McCarthy maybe had some kind of say in this as well.
I mean, it feels like he did.
And the only reason I say that is because obviously front office handled all that, but there's no way we're going to bring in an analytics guy that doesn't fit what McCarthy is trying to do.
Agree. No, I agree, 100% agree with that. Great point. And speaking of, that's why I'm keeping with the analytics, because Real quick, guys, Mike McCarthy, when you look at his offensive play calling, I've broken this down in multiple ways, how he's been dominant for 10 years in Green Bay. Outside of his first year, in the year he lost Aaron Rodgers, dominant play caller, top 11 every year. But Mike McCarthy, when you look at his tendencies, what does he do since 2016? What has he done as far as calling a game plan, calling plays? Minimum 10 games, at least in your career, calling plays since 2016. Well, when it comes to play action, he only does it maybe 30% of the time. That's on the lower end. But you got Brian Schottenheimer, who does it a lot more. So that's the balance there. Now, deep passes, it's 15 yards plus. Those are around the 50 percentile, which tendency is that he's about 50-50 on going for the big play. I think he waits for it on the West Coast offense. Bring the guys up, and then, defensive players up, and you hit them deep. Now, using motion, about 35% of the time uses motion. I think we need more pre-snap motion. We'll see if that's an upgrade from Kellen Moore. Also, Schottenheimer gets a role in there. I know he uses a lot of motion. So you see how they're balancing out his weaknesses, play calling, with Schottenheimer to kind of, help the tendencies that Mike McCarthy might have. You look at 11 personnel. McCarthy uses about 11 personnel a little over 50% of the time, which is 3 receivers. So McCarthy likes to go with those tight ends. You can understand where those tight end picks are coming. It's McCarthy's mindset. But again, Schottenheimer will be, will alter these tendencies a little bit. The best 2 things that McCarthy does, or not best, but the things he does the most when it comes to tendencies and play calling, the zone rush. The zone rush, guys, is something that, we do McCarthy does about 75% of the time when he play calls. And when it comes to the zone rush, and I'm just saying the zone rush for McCarthy is exactly what he spoke about yesterday, saying it's going to be a little different, the techniques, the nuances. So there's even a change in the way he's going to do that zone rush game plan from the running of the ball side of things. And I think that he is learning to kind of allow some changes in that if possible. Also, when you look at the pass percentage, the passing percentile, I guess you can say, he passes his passing play calling tendency. It's about 98% of the time he does it. So again, he's a big time passing coach or game caller, or game planner. Again, way above the league median when it comes to the passing percentage. Oh, we got a drop here from El Monte King in the house, dropping that $2 holler. I'm going to put him on that board in a minute. What did the man have to say, baby?
He said, "Go Cowboys." Well, first he said, "Wait for it."
Oh,
and then with the $3
Oh, I didn't see that one come up.
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Go Cowboys.
Thank you so much, Monte. And by the way, I think you might have boxed yourself out here. Let's see what happens when the drops go through officially. There we go. Okay,
no, the first one already hit. So
okay, perfect.
That's why. Okay, I got you.
Sorry, no, I saw him on my side back to back. I wasn't sure how.
I see a little Lemonhead hello there from El Monte King. Go Cowboys. Always appreciate that, brother. And
getting a little sour. So the haters with their salt can help us
they
make
do.
A margarita.
El Monte King, I got him. He's in 5th place on the overall board.
So thank you. By the way,
moving up.
Let me see here. Rolling back a little bit. By the way, Cool said nerds are people too.
Oh, I actually think it's a great thing that we got nerd backing on this. I love it. Especially for analytics and statistics. We love that.
And Rolando Rodriguez, yes, we did hear Dak's interview today. We heard
we're going to talk about that.
His statements. We're going to touch on, the bigger points of some of the things that he touched on and talked about, obviously. So, Burn Bahar in the house. Hello and hi.
In the house. So, as we roll on here, guys, everybody in the house, hit that like, subscribe if you're new, notification bell, you know what to do. Let's keep it rolling here. Again, McCarthy's on the screen for a reason. We just talked about the new analytics guy, John Park. Big pickup for the Cowboys, I believe. We also talked about McCarthy's tendencies in the offense. Let's talk about how many days before Cowboy football begins, baby. How many days? 95 days. Jonathan Hankins days left before football kicks off for our Cowboys. For our Cowboys, 95 days to go, guys. So Mike McCarthy had a press conference today before the Day 2 mandatory minicamp practice. McCarthy said that the Cowboys spent this past weekend on the in-season schedule, breaking down the schedule. As an offensive-minded coach now, he said he had to split his time. So his team meetings have gone from 30 minutes to 25 minutes so he can have more time with the quarterbacks. as an offensive coordinator now, he has to have more time for coordinating the offense, not overseeing things. So now he's cutting all his meetings down a little bit here and there, 25 minutes into 30, to get more time with our quarterbacks, with Dak Prescott and this offense. I like it. It's needed.
I agree. And again, Dan, we talk about all the great things about Dan Quinn, and we always talk about the fact that he's basically like another head coach. But something to remember, too, is McCarthy is probably delegating some of those head coach, some of those smaller head coaching duties have not only already been delegated, it's just, what I mean? Some things he has to do, but some things are able to be handled by others, especially while he is OCing.
Yeah, when he's OCing, I want McCarthy's mind clear. All right, so McCarthy,
that's gonna be part of the adjustments for this.
Yeah, and that's cool because again, I'm glad to hear that he is doing less on the overall sense and more on the offensive side. I like that much better. Now, he also brought in Matt Hasselbeck, former quarterback from Seattle. I think he was there. I think was he there with McCarthy in Green Bay for a little bit. He was all over the league, Hasselbeck, but Hasselbeck was at the Star on June 6th. I guess was that yesterday? I guess and he was at the MINICAMP yesterday. He had a chance to talk with Dak afterwards. McCarthy said that Matt Hasselbeck and Dak are, quote, pretty like-minded quarterbacks. Now, McCarthy did go into a little bit of the Dak discussion here and how things are going when it comes to play calling and things going kind of meshing with the offense with him and Dak. So McCarthy said Dak has handled the changes and the adjustments of the playbook. Now, Albie's had some major. He said that going back to New Orleans and San Francisco, he wanted his quarterbacks to own the offense. And according to McCarthy, Dak Prescott is owning the offense right now. He's taking control of the offense. That's what he's always done back in New Orleans when he was the offensive coordinator, back in Green Bay, of course, back in San Francisco. I mean, he always wanted to make sure the quarterback was always knowing where everyone was going, owned the offense. We got Jason Renfro owning the Cash App side of things. He's dropping $1 holler on top of that one. So he's at the $2 mark, baby, overall. And I think he actually jumped up the board here a bit or two here. So I'll go in there and check it out in a minute. But first, let me finish what we're saying here now, right? So much love, Jason Renfro. Appreciate you. And Mark Hovsepian, the 42 points there. A little deuce for you. Deuce got the toxic juice. I see Bruce in the house. So anyways, just saying Dak Prescott, guys, again, owning the offense. This is what McCarthy said about that. He said, quote, at the end of the day, the quarterback needs to own the offense. I have no interest in being known. Oh, Clawsome boy.
Woo.
Gets himself a membership here.
Thank you, Jason
Renfro. And my Cowboys family. Thank you to Jason Renfro. Adding another membership to his list. And baby, he's up there. I think he's 5 back now. 5 back on the Man Skeptical Fan in first place. So, as far as the gifting leaderboard side of things, and of course, Jason's moving right up real quick on the overall board as well. So, we'll get it moving here. Again, much love to Jason Renfro, and Mark Hovsepian goes to 40. Oh, I guess he's still at 42 points right now. Much love and congrats to Clawsome Boy getting that membership. Now, I'll explain what McCarthy said, but in a second here, because we got another $2 holler, a J. Lou 2 by EMK El Monte King. What did he have to say, B, with that $2 holler?
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. You know
Thank
the deal.
You again, King. Appreciate that.
Yes, I'm actually going to play the board now, baby. So hit up a comment or two or your thoughts on any burnt bars in the house and others.
Rolando Rodriguez did ask, what is a Texas Coast offense? Can you explain that?
We will.
And I let him know.
We will.
Like, yes, I promise we will explain that here shortly. And I can't help it. I know he said Texas Coast, but thanks to that thumbnail, all I can think of is Texas toast.
Well, that's what he was going off of.
I want some nice garlicky Texas toast now. So
that's what he was going off of, baby. I'm sorry to say to you. He was using that little, wordology there. So we'll talk about Texas Coast offense and more here.
I figured he was going off of East Coast and West Coast, not necessarily the Texas toast, but
Well, it's Texas toast, and then there's the West Coast, so you got to put it together.
What kind of East toast is there, and what's West? So East toast is probably a bagel. A toasted bagel is East toast, and a West toast is I don't know, toasted vegan bread.
All right.
There you go. And Texas toast is nice garlicky bread.
Well, we'll explain what this is in a bit. I didn't say it.
Dak did. In the house, much love. As Stick Aguilar 04 said, a little deuce. Come on, MCF.
A little deuce. Drop a little deuce. Anyway,
Mike Aldana said, might as well be the Dak Coast offense. Hey.
Yeah, maybe we'll be calling that at the end of the year. We'll see. So, much love to everybody again. I fixed the board. I think everyone's right on the board there. So, let me continue this thing as we roll through this. We're going to get to the practice. We're going to get to the updates on the injuries and all these things that went down. I just, still not 100% answers out there, but we're feeling better about some of the issues that happened today at practice. Anyways, let me get back to it because Dak Prescott taking control and owning this offense. Mike McCarthy said, quote, "At the end of the day, the quarterback needs to own the offense. I have no interest in being known as some guru coach or a smart coach." Kellen Moore. I want smart Hall of Fame type quarterbacks. The only way to get there is to make them own the offense. He's done a really good job of taking ownership of that. Dak has knocked it out of the park. Now, I want to say one last thing. One of my biggest complaints about Dak Prescott, I know some of you guys, he threw a bad pass. Wah. That's so stupid. Every quarterback throws bad passes. But to me, the biggest issue with Dak, the accuracy, you can say about this, you can say, he never really, and I got to say, I don't know if I call it own the offense, but he never took control of the offense.
Yeah, this is something that, it's one thing when it's 2016 and a
rookie,
fresh off the lot, Dak Prescott has to go over and take over our Dallas Cowboys offense. So, okay, understandable, but like you've pointed out, even with, offensive coordinator changes, even with, player acquisitions, we heard it straight from Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper basically had to push Dak Prescott to go against some of
Lenahan's calls
plans, just because, again, he would not step outside of that predestined, play that was called. Yeah. So
owning the offense.
That's a game plan, and Dak is going to stick to it.
Listen, owning the offense is major for Dak's development. I think that's the last part. Listen, you guys think I'm just saying it now. Baby, I've said this how long? That was my biggest issue with Dak, taking control of the offense. Now, he can take over a game, but he still relies on Kellen Moore to help him. No more Kellen Moore. Now it's Mike McCarthy. You got to do this, young man. You got to take over the offense, and you got to grow some balls. That's the biggest issue with Dak Prescott in my mind. The rest is coaching. I do believe most of this is coaching. Get Dak in the best positions. He'll get you at least a top 10 quarterback play out on that field consistently. So take ownership of this team. Again, McCarthy don't want to be no damn guru, high-scoring coach. Again, a knock against Kellen Moore. I don't care how you slice it. That's exactly what it is. He might tell you it's not. Obviously, that's what it is. Not even on purpose. I don't think he's doing it. He's just saying, I don't want to be that kind of coach who could put up all those big points. I want to win games, and I want Hall of Fame type quarterbacks that are going to put up not just the numbers, those big numbers on this offense. He don't want that from Dak. He wants Dak to win games. He wants Dak to own the offense. He wants Hall of Fame type guys that can handle everything on their own. Dak has never been given that because Lenahan took full control from the beginning, and Kellen Moore continued that control. Dak personally, I don't think he's the kind of guy that just takes over a game from his coaches. Now he's going to have to learn. Mike McCarthy's going to put him on that track. And that's a big development for Dak Prescott. Outside of sliding him out, moving him out for 2 seconds, and scrambling a little bit more, at least extending the play. All that stuff's important. Pre-snap stuff, the play action stuff. I've said this. It's coaching, putting Dak in better positions, but Dak had to take over. He takes over. I think he's in great hands with Mike McCarthy. So we'll have to keep waiting and see what happens on that. Now, McCarthy also touched on the running back position. Tony Pollard, baby. Tony Pollard, McCarthy basically said that Tony Pollard is asserting himself a lot more. He has a commanding presence. Excellent job with the younger players. So he's coming there as a leader in a way, right? He said Pollard has done one of the best jobs on the team of asserting himself now that he is the running back number one. He's you see some guys take
stepping up into that.
You see those guys take over, that starting role after a year, and they're not really as vocal, they're not really taking to it too well. No, Tony Pollard is all in on this. That's great to hear. I know he went into a deeper dive on this. You got the full context of the quote. What did he say?
Yes, I do. So he said, quote, "I'll tell you what, he's like a little E.F. Hutton." Show my age here. The commercial. But now watching him assert himself more, he has a commanding presence, and I think he's done an excellent job with the younger players. You could see how they look up to him. And Tony always asks excellent questions because we're doing some things differently, protection-wise, a little different as far as our coursework and things in the run game. And Tony has a really good feel of how things fit together. He's a great example for our young players.
Love to freaking hear it. Now, and just bouncing right off of that, baby, he continued, McCarthy, talking a lot of great stuff about Tony Pollard, reminding him how he knew he was doing well as a kid if his dad wasn't talking to him. Just break it down, baby.
Interesting. So, about Oh, yeah, so there it is. Sorry, no, I skipped right over it. So he said, quote, "The locker room is the locker room. I think the things that go on in the locker room now, the locker room in the National Football League has probably been unlocked now for 15, 18 years now. But I still view it as their space. And Zeke has a tremendous personality, so I'm sure it comes out in that setting. But Zeke was a tremendous teammate. Zeke was also a tremendous example for those guys, too. I think if Tony was standing there, he would compliment Zeke on showing him the way as a young player. So yeah, Tony Pollard does it the right way. He kind of reminds me of growing up in my household as a kid. If my dad wasn't talking to me, I knew I was doing a hell of a job. So I don't have to say much to Tony."
Interesting.
So
Interesting correlation.
McCarthy doesn't necessarily mean that in a negative way, because I can easily see how that basically means, like, even if I'm doing good, you basically only come over to yell at me. But it's more of a generally neutral statement, right? Like, we're good, it's all good. We don't really have to get into the details or anything, just the broad strokes, because it's all good. And if something's wrong, well, you will be hearing and seeing.
It reminds me a little bit of like cornerback in the NFL. If you don't hear their name, that means they're doing good.
Yep.
Offensive lineman, you don't hear their name, that means they're doing good. It's kind of that kind of mindset.
Name being called a lot,
something's wrong.
Not a good thing.
It's not a good thing if a cornerback getting unless he's going for a pick and getting a pick, he's usually getting beat if he's getting his name called, or same thing with offensive lineman, meaning holding penalty or getting beat, right? So yeah, I get. Now speaking of offensive line, baby, let's rock and roll right to that. That's a big discussion yesterday about the switch up going on there with the Cowboys O-line, and Tyron Smith going from right tackle to left tackle, Tyler Smith going from left tackle to left guard. And first, we got a guard, the man taking it down here. Jason Renfro, $1.45 drop. What did the man say?
Ooh, he said, "Go Cowboys."
Cowboy. Appreciate you, Jason
Thank
Renfro.
you. Appreciate you, of course. Much love. So Cactus G also in the place to be.
In the house. So, again, let's talk about these guys here real quick. Because McCarthy, and it's not even these guys, just the offensive line. Baby, this is, what have I said about the guy who should be like the future swing, the best of our backups on that offensive line? And I've been saying it's Matt Waletzko. Well, now so has Mike McCarthy. We know he was on there yesterday playing the right tackle spot for Tyron Smith. And, of course, Terrence Steele. McCarthy said that everyone has been impressed with their guard / tackle. He's a tackle first, but he's playing a left guard as well at times. Matt Waletzko is having a heck of an offseason. That's a quote from McCarthy. McCarthy said that Waletzko has had a little better feet than they at first realized. So his foot movement is better. And he says he has the ability to bend inside, play that guard spot. So great news for Waletzko going forward. I think Waletzko is the best prospect. He's kind of like a Terrence Steele-ish kind of feel to me, even though he wasn't undrafted like Terrence Steele. Get the right guys, get Duke Manyweather an offseason with him, which hopefully he had. I think Waletzko's on his way to be a definite, the first guy you go to when you go to the backup spot if you don't have Tyron Smith in the game. Let's put it that way. If Tyron Smith's not there, and he's gonna be banged up this year. Let's be real. Whether he's starting or as a backup, when Tyron Smith's out the way, Waletzko will have to pick up the slack. And I think as of right now, he will be the guy in the driver's seat to try to get that position. I think he's the guy that's the favorite to get that true backup swing tackle position on the offensive line. Again, entering his second year, 5th round pick last year. So we'll see how that goes. I love it, and I've been talking about him. I expect to see him, Sam Williams, do better. I know McCarthy talked about Tolbert. He talked about Terrence Steele some years ago. You got to believe Mike McCarthy when he says these things. He talked about Jabril Cox and Eric Scott yesterday. They both had incredible days yesterday on the practice field. So I'm just saying, like, McCarthy knows his players, and when he speaks about them, he ain't blowing smoke up our ass like the Jones hype shit that we see all the time, and Jerry and Steven. So the final thing on Waletzko, Mike McCarthy said this about Matt Waletzko, quote, "Everybody has been very impressed with Matt. He has had a heck of an offseason, and he's been rotating between right tackle and left guard the past couple of weeks." McCarthy said this is part of the development of the O-line's versatility. Not necessarily going to play all the spots, but they have to be ready for any kind of switches or any kind of changes to get the best 5 out in that field. So that's what McCarthy's plan is going forward. Now you see here Tyler Smith, dead center of your screen, second-year guy again. A lot of second-year guys are talking about this year. Tyler Smith, according to McCarthy, they wanted to make sure Tyler Smith was. Why did they put him at left guard? Right, because we saw him left tackle basically all year last year and this entire offseason right now in these different phase 1 and 2s. Right. McCarthy said that they want to make sure Tyler Smith was able to get through both of these first 2 phases as the left tackle. They wanted to still keep that foundation at left tackle for Tyler Smith. but they're confident he's ready to go for guard or tackle. Guys, they think, Mike McCarthy thinks that we got ourselves, this guy's a top 10 guard and tackle in the NFL. And this is kind of where McCarthy and the Cowboy crew kind of believes about him. McCarthy said this about left tackle, left guard, Tyler Smith. Quote, "It was really cool to watch the tape yesterday because he looked like he lined up at guard all offseason. Like, he didn't miss a beat. He's very, very comfortable over there." So again, the key here is Tyler Smith has developed fluency at both positions. And I'm telling you, it's not a drop-off. I'm telling you, it's not a bad thing. This is a great thing for someone like for Tyler Smith to continue to build off of, because that means, the sky's the limit for him. The sky's the limit for him, and it makes our jobs easier, not my job, but the Cowboys' jobs easier to try to figure out an offensive alignment if he can do both pretty much dominating, right? Guard, left tackle. Put him wherever you want. Just fill in the other spot with the best guy we got left. That's basically what he's giving us, the versatility to do that. So McCarthy, loving what 73 is doing on that field. I know that Tyler Smith also was talked about in a much more deeper context, in a bigger quote from Mike McCarthy. So what did Mike McCarthy have to say about Tyler Smith's basically taking left tackle snaps in minicamp, and the versatility not being a big deal for him because of his mindset, because that's the expectation. Is it the expectation? Is it the mindset when it comes to Tyler Smith in today's NFL? I'm going to stop talking. What did McCarthy say, baby?
He said, quote, "It was really cool to watch the tape of him yesterday because he looked like he's been lined up at left guard all offseason. My goal when we started was, let's make sure Tyler is ready to play left tackle, and I feel like we've accomplished that. He's been here the whole time. We call it concept teaching. So we were able to get through everything that's going to be asked of him at left tackle through phase 1 and phase 2 of the classroom, and then he was able to rep it all to the first 5 OTAs.
Nice.
So we have great confidence that he's ready to go left tackle, and then obviously his experience at left guard last year plays into it. So yeah, that's why we wanted to finish with these practices of having him and Tyron working together on the left side."
Yeah.
So yeah, he's very, very comfortable over there.
And again, a couple of points I want to say about what you just read and more content in the detail there. These are the three practices, OTAs yesterday, today, and tomorrow's practice, where they're lining up this way the entire 3 days. And, I think that just the fact that he got a lot of experience at guard last year, really in preseason. He got a lot of guard play there. In the scrimmages and the practices, he was doing a lot of guard work there, and then all of a sudden I had to start left tackle after Tyron Smith went down. Mm-hmm. A week and a half before the freaking Buccaneer game. So
and real quick, Monty, it's actually interesting because I know you're hopping in here now. One of the things we've discussed throughout the offseason in regards to Pollard is the fact that he actually has improved on his pass protection.
Yeah, he actually was
jump.
Yeah, Tony Pollard was actually used more than Ezekiel Elliott last year in pass protection. That could have been from Zeke's injuries, but it was like 17% of the time for Pollard to like 14% from Zeke. And Pollard was also much more effective. Higher rated. He was 4th in the NFL as a running back pass protector. Zeke was ranked 26th, I think, in the NFL. Pollard 4th. So I think it was 23rd and Pollard was 4th. Anyways, my point is 20 spots different. Pollard last year was utilized more as a pass protector in the Cowboys team, and he was also more effective and better at it than Zeke, at least last year, right? So that's an improvement, like you said, baby, from a big improvement from Tony Pollard. So, anyways, McCarthy's comments, kind of rounding out things here on defense, I guess. We'll go on defense here. McCarthy said that he expects Damone Clark is another great example of a guy coming off rehab. And again, we've talked about Damone Clark's jump, not just last year, of course, but this year. He did a lot of great stuff yesterday in the OTAs. He's been doing great out there, just really looking good. McCarthy's actually talked about him a couple times, talked about him again, saying how they saw how he attacked his medical situation and, quote, poured into it. So Damone Clark just went all out and lived, breathed, everything was about getting back on that field and rehabbing back as best as possible. So McCarthy, the team, the players, a lot of respect for Damone Clark. McCarthy also said that Stephon Gilmore, the new cornerback for the Cowboys, has an understanding of the route tree, and that the timing with the quarterbacks is really something to watch. His timing with the quarterback is incredible. It makes him such a great Hey, we got Big Texas 84.
Ooh, thank you for subbing it up.
Yeah, welcome to the family here on MCF. So, yeah, guys, I mean, Stephon Gilmore basically knows the route tree like a receiver. He knows the timing with the quarterbacks like a receiver. You guys feel me on this? So he has the receiver instincts. Not saying he's a receiver like Trayvon Diggs, but he has the receiver instincts to know and read where the offensive receiver player is going to go on his route tree. So again, basically McCarthy said that Gilmore has great ball skills and his experience presents, quote, a lot to offer. McCarthy also spoke about another cornerback, Kelvin Joseph, a guy we've discussed here over the last couple of weeks because he's gotten different looks at the nickel slot cornerback spot. And here's what McCarthy said about Kelvin Joseph, playing the nickel position there at the cornerback nickel slot position. He said, quote, I think this is the best stretch for Kelvin since he's been here. There's nothing he can't do physically. But now he has a greater understanding of the game. His instincts have been taking over. And playing at nickel also making better on the outside, end quote. So basically what Kelvin Joseph is learning from playing nickel, he's taking that also. Maybe he's going to make him a better player on the outside as a cornerback. That's the hope, according to Mr. Mike McCarthy here. So McCarthy finished the press conference, but you could say it's the pre-press conference, pre-talk here before the press conference before the practice. There you go. I got it right now. McCarthy said he loves Mike McCord and Bucky Buchanan. He says they spend so much time with your football team in general. They know the players. And so the quality of the person is so important. He said Bucky runs the practices kind of like the field manager. Both these guys are awesome. So just a little background kind of note on the guys running the show when, McCarthy's running the actual coaching, but they got other guys there getting the practices rolling from point to point, time to time, and on and on. So he loves his staff there. Now, let's get right into the practice. And I'm going to start off with some video. All right, we'll go with today's, video recap, which we posted here on our channel. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
In case you missed it, obviously you get a little, bonus showing of it here. But
a little mini preview, right? And you see there, CeeDee Lamb on the ground. Unfortunately, we'll talk about that and more as you see some of these things come up. Still early, guys, but after a few weeks of OTAs and minicamp, the defense had a step on the offense. But now, guys, and again, remember, guys, the defense is always having a step on the offense. That's always the way it is. Safeties here practicing some ball drills there as Schoonmaker's trying some stuff here. We'll talk about him and his bootless foot there, thank goodness. But the point is this, guys, the defense has always appeared a step ahead of the offense, which is always expected. But today's practice was a complete 180. Today, the offense had the advantage the whole time.
Which, again, I have to just throw this out there. It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had,
a good offensive day like this, right? The offense looked crisp. It looked fast. It looked cohesive. Growth is happening on this offensive side of the ball. The offense, it was very offensive heavy today. Dak, as you can see, it was electric. Brandon Cooks, I'm going to talk more about him. You'll see some stuff on your screen here. Brandon Cooks won with seam routes, not once, multiple times. Down the field, took the top off the defense. He's doing exactly, number 3 is doing exactly what we need him to do, at least in this first practice. He needs to get those seam routes and take the top off the defense. He does that, everyone's going to party, guys, everyone. But he was doing great stuff, getting here in this play. So here you're seeing a Dak dump down here to a receiver. But when you see the next play here, it's going to kind of go in fast motion. Here, Dak goes deep, all the way down to Brandon Cooks. Right there, boom, beats the defenders, double team for a 60-yard touchdown. I'll explain that in a minute here. But basically, Cooks won a lot of seam routes multiple times, took the top off the defense, big-time play there. Now, CeeDee Lamb, we're going to talk about his injury a little bit later, but he had a one-hand grab, and the play got hurt. One-hand grab in traffic. It was a jaw-dropping play for CeeDee Lamb. Great coverage from Bland. He was playing on the outside. Keep that in mind, not the slot, on the outside. And back to Jalen Tolbert, though. Jalen Tolbert looking much more comfortable every day with Dak Prescott. That's great to see, great to hear.
He's, regardless of whatever McCarthy thinks, we know he's one of the guys that has to have a year 2 jump. I'm just saying, whatever happened year 1, let's just pretend it never happened.
He saw it happen. He's seeing it happen. Now here you're seeing, unfortunately, guys, the CeeDee Lamb injury, as you can see right there on the ground. CeeDee Lamb was limping around after him and Israel Mukwamu bumped knees during a 7-on-7 drill. CeeDee Lamb was still able to make that one-handed jaw-dropping spinning one-handed catch of Dak Prescott's throw. Dak was on the run, and he flung it out. This is when he breaks the pocket. He's going to throw these kind of plays. We got CeeDee Lamb wide open deep, but then you see him here hurting and hobbling throughout the practice, guys. Let me explain. Great job by CeeDee Lamb, but he was briefly examined, took a couple of plays off the field, and then returned for a couple more plays, and you saw this. You see him bending over, hitting the ground. He suffered this apparent left leg injury about midway into practice. Head athletic trainer, you see him there, Jim Maurer, evaluated him multiple locations, multiple times on the field. Again, hopefully this was a scare. Initially, that's what we were hoping for, right? He was hobbled following this impressive one-handed catch, but CeeDee Lamb was in good spirits afterwards. Look at him there. Laughing with teammates, able to walk under his own power. Very good news. Rather than exiting the field for further evaluation, he stood on the sideline, staying close in practice in support of his other teammates. Important to see him staying there, right, for the practice. And then after practice, guys, if Micah Parsons running off the field, CeeDee Lamb's, again, this is per a person very familiar with the situation. It might be Stephen Jones for all we know, but little leaks going out. Person familiar with the situation said that CeeDee Lamb is fine after his exit today from practice. Another person close to the situation said, quote, "It's nothing," end quote. And I want to say that a lot of people are saying out there that CeeDee Lamb's injury was more of a cramping issue, per NFL Network. I'm going to say it out there because that's what they said. They said it this afternoon, but they didn't know what it was. So I'm going to hope it's a cramp. I'm going to knock on wood. And it sounds like even from the CeeDee Lamb side, from his people, it's something not to worry about. But, I want to see it before I believe it. I don't expect CeeDee Lamb being out there tomorrow at all in this minicamp practice tomorrow, right? One last thing about CeeDee Lamb. He joined that superstar tier last year, I think, as a number one receiver, but like a top number one receiver in the NFL. Listen to this. He had a 75.6% success rate against when he was covered in a man coverage situation, man scheme defense. Fantastic. In zone, even better. 80.5% of success rate. Against the press, we playing up on him, bumping him, 78.4% success rate. This is domination on all three levels by CeeDee Lamb. Continued mastery of all three wide receiver positions. I'm talking about the X, Y, and Z, the slot, the outside. Don't matter. CeeDee Lamb is dominant versus zone, press, or man coverage. Facts. We need this man to be healthy. So now kid gloves the rest of the way until we get to training camp when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion. I think that's the best thing to do. What do you think? What do you think about this, baby? What's the chat think about the situation with CD, baby?
I mean, first of all, thank goodness it's at least June, right? Where we're having this discussion at a time where, any kind of small little bumps or bruises can, be properly healed or whatever. But I'm not going to lie. I don't care even if it is just a bump or bruise. I don't like it. Not a fan. Hopefully CD's okay. It's more the kind of back and forthness of the injury that leaves me a little bit like, you know what I mean? Since he kept trying to push himself to get back out there and try to continue practicing. We basically saw him crumple like a paper bag a few times. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a good look. I don't like that he kind of tried to push himself for, again, what admittedly is just not necessary. As much as we all want to see CeeDee Lamb tearing it up out there, if you are banged up, just chill. Take it easy. Don't overstress your injury here either, because we need you. We need you, CD. So, obviously, like I said, thank goodness that it isn't something more serious.
Again, and I'm still going to knock on wood because I'm not 100% sure yet. I want to wait for the Cowboys to confirm this.
Exactly. So, and remember, guys, we were dealing with inflammation a few days ago. Now, all of a sudden, it's plantar fasciitis for Schoonmaker. So, hopefully, this minor injury doesn't turn around and turn into something
pops up something
way,
bigger,
way
right?
worse, right? So, Mike Aldana said it. Get the reps in, but just don't overdo it.
Don't push it. Yeah, no need to.
So, and honestly, it's never a good thing when someone gets hurt, but the only thing that happens when you don't have your number one receiver is everybody else has to step it up a little bit more. So that's the only thing I can think of, that tomorrow's mandatory minicamp is going to have probably, a lot more of basically everybody but CD. So that's all, and that's always
good. Good little break. Any quick comments in the chat about CeeDee Lamb's situation? I know we were having some of that earlier.
Let me see. Harold Jones said, Dak Prescott to all of Cowboy Nation. I will master this Texas Coast offense. So besides that, we had read the other one, but Scorpio said he needs to eat bananas for cramps. Potassium is good, or some salt. So, and again, hopefully it's a cramp. Just some kind of cramp or something, or I don't know, maybe he bumped his shin into the coffee table.
But this is the play here. You see CeeDee on the left. He goes in motion to the right. He goes down the field, then goes kind of a left side post. And then he jumped up there, caught the pass, one-handed and all, but you see this happening. You don't want to see that. So, help them up there. You see him. He took a couple plays off, came back in the practice, and then you'll see here him crumpling over there, looking a little wobbly on that leg, and just didn't want to take any chances, got worked on that on the field, and then did not come back. But it was good spirits when he walked off on his own power. All this is great news. CeeDee Lamb should be okay, in my opinion. What's the chat saying, baby?
So, no, we kind of touched on
I thought we just hit
most
like
of
one
those
comment,
CD ones, right? So, let me see here. By the way, The Lunatic,
the Godfather.
Appreciate you rolling through here as well. So, but yeah, we kind of touched on all the CD relevant comments here in the chat. So,
all right.
Back to you,
all right. Well, now we're into this, and we're on the way out here, guys. So it is close to the end of tonight's stream, but let's finish strong, because if you looked a little earlier, and hopefully we'll rewrap around this. When you see all the rest of these pictures, we'll get back to the offensive side and Brandon Cooks. But Dak Prescott, guys, on fire, cooking with Brandon Cooks today, guys. Let me explain. Dak Prescott connected with wide receiver Brandon Cooks on a deep touchdown to set up that game-tying 2-point conversion on the 7-on-7 period late in practice. Remember this, guys. The passing game is not allowed to go full speed until training camp. Not going to be too aggressive here. And same thing on defense. The defense is not allowed to contest catches. So, again, who knows what would have happened in real life, but it was a great pass, a great catch. Brandon Cooks showing his speed. And, Cooks, a natural fit in the wide receiver room. Just obvious. So let me just say this. So again, we talked about the CeeDee Lamb catch, and unfortunately that injury kind of put a little damper there. But Brandon Cooks, though, and you'll see it here later on. I'll try to show you guys when it comes on the screen. But Brandon Cooks, the highlight belonged to him today. And really, he played another great day for Brandon Cooks. He turned on the Jets. Guys, no joke. He is still got his speed. Brandon Cooks is fast as whoop. So Brandon Cooks, guys, turned on the Jets, got behind double coverage. And, on this go route, hitting the seam, Dak Prescott dropped in a fantastic pass. Some people call it an absolute dime. And hit Brandon Cooks for a 60, it was like a 45, 50-yard pass in stride to then complete the 60-yard touchdown to tie the practice session there late in practice. So a fantastic play. When it pops back up, you'll see almost the play come through, but you'll see the Dak loading up, using that torque, launching that ball 50 yards in stride perfectly, and you'll see Brandon Cooks splitting the defense for the TD, basically. He runs it in the last 10 yards or so. So great play there. And by the way, Jalen Tolbert, I can't forget him. He had a great day yesterday after McCarthy talked him up. Again, had another nice day again today. Everything is trending in the direction that he's going to be our number 4 right now, beating out Simi Fehoko and the others. But I want to make sure I also stress that Tolbert does not have to be a high-end starter right now. He just needs to be a viable number 4 option. That's all we need from him. We don't need him to be a number 1, a number 2. We just need him to be a good number 4, a usable number 4. That's what we need from you, Jalen Tolbert. Bring it. Come on. Keep bringing what you're doing here. Now, talked about Schoonmaker and his leg. You see him here, guys.
I was going to make a joke about usable number 4, but I'll let you keep going there.
Schoonmaker's his right leg there, perfectly fine. Doing more work on the sideline, not in the game. Like I told you guys yesterday, the Cowboys are going to take it very easy with Luke Schoonmaker. Other tight end there, you saw Peyton Hendershot catching a touchdown from Dak Prescott here. The deuce is loose. 42 Deuce Vaughn yesterday in the red zone, 7-on-7 drills in the getting a lot of passes out the backfield. It's more of that today. I'm looking forward to see Deuce earning that star and being part of this game in 2-minute drills in the red zone situational stuff when we're going to pass. Oh, Deuce is loose, baby. And other receiving threats, we talked about them earlier. These 3 guys. Here's Dak dumping it down. But watch your screen after this clip, because that's the play I was just talking about with Brandon Cooks. Watch Dak loading up. Watch him load up for this pass. Right there. Look at that midsection with that nice pass. Gets it over the top and touchdown. Brandon Cooks, beautiful right there. And, you can see it here. You can see the paused version of Dak torquing it. And there it's that's a beautiful pass. Splitting the double team. Beautiful pass for Dak Prescott. Good stuff there. Leaving the situation on the field as best it could be with all the other negatives. This was a very positive with Brandon Cooks. Dak Prescott cooking. And, baby, you're going to talk about Dak Prescott in a second about that that Texas coast offense. Now, well, we kind of figuring this was a scare from the CeeDee Lamb situation, as you see here. This was a very low tempo practice. Low tempo, not like the last couple days. Were like a little more, passionate, I guess you can say. A lot more stuff going on today. Not so up tempo. A lot more low tempo. Cowboys did not conduct any 11 on 11 drills today. It was 7 on 7s and that kind of stuff. I think they threw in an 11 on 11 on there once in a blue moon, but most of this was not 11 on 11s. And then you saw at the end of the video, but kicker Tristan Vizcaino yesterday was 9 for 9, including warm-ups. Today, he went 7 for 9, including warm-ups. 7 for 9. He missed 2. Where did he miss them from? Well, he missed a 49-yarder and a 53-yarder. And he made his longest from 53. So
yeah, and I know
not bad.
Again, sucks though, just because obviously yesterday he was 9 for 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no one's gonna be perfect, but yeah, I mean he's only missed 2 in 2 days. He's 17 for 19 or whatever it is.
Honestly,
I'll take 17 for 8, 16 for 18. That's pretty damn good.
At this point, the Cowboys have made it, like I said, pretty abundantly clear that they'd rather go in a different direction for that. And real quick, I actually wanted to roll back a tiny bit, I hope you don't mind, to touch on DeLunatic's comment. He said 4.35 speed. Cooks brings the speed all 4 quarters.
He still has it too. And now he doesn't have to be wait, DeLunatic. Brandon Cooks doesn't have to be a number 1 now. And go full blast constantly, and if he gets tweaked up and hurt,
so much pressure off of him.
Now he's a number. Now he's a number 2. He's a number 3. Wherever he wants, wherever the Cowboys want to put him in there, and use him at his most, maybe the most vital parts of a game, but also the defense getting a little tired. They're expecting to see a CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup, not the fastest guys in the world, and then all of a sudden Cooks on the field, boom, cooking. I love it. Yes, let's cook, baby. Dak to Cooks to CeeDee to Gallup to Deuce, to everybody on this team. That's what we got to keep getting the ball out. We got Pollard, we got Luke Schoonmaker, we got Ferguson, caught a touchdown yesterday. I'm just saying, guys, there's a lot of talent here. Now, here you're seeing the kicking, like I said, Tristan Vizcaino. You're also seeing TJ Bass. He rotated, guys. Again, we have a video on TJ Bass. We talk about him as an undrafted guy who has a chance to kind of squeak in there as a left guard. A lot of people are saying, this guy's making a 53. Today, they said that. I've been saying he has a good chance to make it for a couple of weeks. I will also add that Don't listen to me or these other people because no one's really going to know, guys. We got to wait till the pads come on. TJ Bass is undrafted for a reason, but I think he has a high ceiling to make some strides and maybe, just maybe, be a guy that can provide some depth there. Maybe knock someone off our current team that's right now just hanging on by a thread. So I like TJ Bass. He rotated with the first team today at right guard. So they took Josh Ball out and they put in more TJ Bass. Interesting. They said he looked good. They say he looked even better than a Josh Ball. Looks like Cox may be doing better, but Ball's on the street. They're lopping the balls off, guys. So, I don't know. TJ Bass out there getting first-team right guard work. And also, tight end John Stevens, an undrafted guy. He can move. He kind of surprised some people out there. Deep tight end room, so it's going to be tough for him to make the starting team, but there's definitely skill there. You might see him sneak on like the practice squad. Tight end John Stevens. Ronald Jones. Maybe I know a lot of people want to know where's that Zeke replacement. We talked about Ronald Jones yesterday. Getting the red zone kind of short yardage stuff. Today he had first team work. First with the first team. Might have been the first time in 4 sessions I think he ever worked with the number 1s right now. Good little upgrade for Ronald Jones. And again, taking over that quote unquote Zeke position of the short yardage stuff. Tyron Smith also, you see him here. Well, you saw him a little earlier there. Standing behind Tristan Vizcaino. He did not practice today. Tyron Smith. Give him a veteran day. DeMarcus Lawrence on defense did not practice today. He also getting a veteran day. He was just back, yesterday back in practice. Today they gave him an off day. Remember, his knee was scoped this past offseason. So everyone knows he's going to be perfectly fine for training camp. Micah Parsons, you saw him walking off the field a little bit here. Guys, here's what's interesting about Micah Parsons. Micah's Micah. He's dominant. But he went through today. Remember, where he's going to be playing, baby? Edge rushing, right?
Yeah.
He went through the linebacker drills today. He went not the edge stuff, doing some linebacker work today. So getting a little flex, a little versatility there.
I mean, hey, they want to make sure he's staying on the up and up for everything that he might need to know. So.
I mean, he might need 200 snaps. He had 190 last year at linebacker. He might get another 190 this year. You got to still touch up on that work a little bit, right? Safeties. You saw in the beginning of this video, safeties spent most of their individual drills competing in tip drills and working on quick reaction kind of sessions there. It's good to see these guys compete. The safeties are so good, and we got a lot of them. I know Marquise Bell. Somebody asking about him. I haven't heard much about him, but he's still in the rotation, still doing his thing. And my guys like Israel Mukwamu stepping up. Of course, our starting three-headed monster of safeties there, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, and J-Ron Kearse. You know, you got hybrid guys in there playing linebacker like the Marvin Overshone and Jabril Cox, who kind of can kind of feel like safeties at time. You know, they play at safety, it can drop back into coverage. So, you know, when it comes to like a Jabril Cox, great to see these guys doing a great job out there. Now, I just want to say one thing before I go to my final kind of comments about this. And baby, you're going to finish it up with the comments of the night from Dak and Brandon Cooks. They're cooking.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say this, though, baby. The Cowboys close minicamp tomorrow. Tomorrow it ends. And then we got ourselves like another week and a half until they finish up the final practices. And then they all head, you know, to their own personal training sessions at home for a month.
It's the darkest part.
Yeah, for about a month.
The off-season.
Month or 6 weeks. 5-6 weeks, we don't hear much. They're just doing their own. Hopefully nobody gets in trouble. Knocking on wood. Everyone just works out, gets ready, acclimates back to training camp at the end of July.
Shape.
Yeah, at the end of July. They just got to keep themselves, you know, active and healthy, right? So, no, again, the off-season program officially closes on Thursday. So if there's anything else, it's going to be a little touch-up meetings this upcoming week. I think the rookies also have to stay there, and then it's dead silence for about 5 weeks, and then it's the end of July and training camp. So the training camp dates should be announced at the end of this month, at the end of June. Great. So keep that in mind. Now, just at this practice as it's finishing up. By the way, Micah Parsons, I wanted to say, you know, I saw him walking off the field as a edge rusher. He's one of the top 10 disruptors of 2022. But that's at linebacker too, right? He's floating around doing stuff there. That's why Micah was, as I talked about here, did the linebacker drills today. But Micah Parsons, guys, as far as the next-gen stats dictate, Micah Parsons is the number 1 disruptor of last season. Nick Bosa, number 2, Myles Garrett, 3, Hassan Reddick, 4, Chris Jones, Alex Highsmith, Hargrove, Judon Burns, Quentin Williams from the Jets. Number 1, Micah Parsons. At linebacker, edge rusher, it didn't matter. Micah's the man. And by the way, there's Tyron Smith keeping an eye on Tristan Vizcaino, putting a little pressure on him. I like that. I think that should be his job there for Tyron Smith. Just stand behind Tristan Vizcaino and scare him a little bit. See if he gets a little pressure. So maybe, you know, give him a little challenge here and there. So Kelvin Joseph, guys.
I want Bones to just pop around the corner and just go, boo.
Yeah, Bones will be.
I just wanted to do the little boo for Bones.
Boo for Bones.
Sorry,
no, it's all right. You see the safeties here meeting with Jerry Jones, Hooker. You see the cornerback here, Stephon Gilmore. Of course, Zach Martin with the injury. He's the soft tissue injury. He's going to be fine for training camp, but he's over there talking to Jerry Jones. I want to say a couple other things here. Kelvin Joseph left practice today. So, I mean, again, I talked about him earlier, having a good, you know, training camp, good OTAs and all that. But today he left with a tight back. Not serious. It's just something to keep an eye on. CeeDee Lamb, of course, we know he didn't finish practice after he tweaked his left leg a little bit. Again, not considered serious. Could be cramps. We'll see. But he said his side of people saying, you know, his people saying he's good. It's fine. Let's hope that continues that way. Tyron Smith, like I said, held out of practice, given a rest day. Brandon Cooks, fast as hell, burning it up out there. I mean, we saw multiple times the clips up from today. Man, that was big time from Brandon Cooks. We're loving it. He's cooking out there. He said he wanted today to, even though he's not supposed to go all out, Brandon Cooks, and I think you have some of this, baby, wanted to give the Cowboys, just offense, defense, the coaches, a taste of his speed. That's what they wanted. He wanted to do that, and again, now they have seen it. Now they know Brandon Cook's speed. Now I wonder how it's going to change the defensive mindset for Dan Quinn, the way he's going to go up against our offense. And see how, because again, he was beating the defense all over the top for deep stuff and stretching our defense. That's great practice and when during the season, but man, we got to make sure that we utilize that on the offense in games and on defense that we're able to cover that. So that's a great test and a strain to the defense. I like it. Keep giving us that speed, Brandon Cooks, to stay healthy. Now, Brandon Cooks also said he kind of has no interest in battling Kevontae Turpin for the fastest man or get into a race with Tyreek Hill. He says he doesn't have to prove his speed anymore, guys. He's fast on the field, 4.3, 4.35, 4.4. Who gives a damn? He's fast, and it's gonna show every single time he's on that field. By the way, Kevontae Turpin, I want to just say one thing about him. See Deuce, a returner, Turpin, part of the return crew, but also kind of fighting for a similar role on the offensive side of the ball. Turpin looked really good today, working at the receiver spot. Kevontae Turpin. Cowboys expect him to have some kind of role in the offense as well, of course, on special teams.
I have to admit,
they want to get the playmakers the ball. That's the key.
It does me good to see Turpin getting a little bit more involved on the offensive side of things, just because, again, I feel like that was one of the biggest things that Kellen Moore dropped the ball on, this previous season. Not utilizing him. I mean, damn.
And playmakers, right? You got Deuce Vaughn, another wasted player in Kellen Moore's offense. You put Deuce Vaughn in there, you find him some snaps, you get him some plays in the game, you get Cavante Turpin in the game, get him some snaps, work up into the offense. Don't just give him 2 trick plays a game and say you didn't do your job right, because it's predictable with Kellen Moore. That's why. So we'll see McCarthy's tutelage. I think it's be a lot better, a lot sharper, a lot cleaner this year. Trust me on that.
So let me see here. James Gary said, let's try this again. Interceptions are not an issue for Dak Prescott. So, somewhere in between that statement and the other statement, right? Anything that helps Dak get less interceptions, I don't really care the who's, the what's, the when's, the where's, or the whys. I just care that it happens. So, just throw that out there.
And I think that when it comes to Dak, I agree with James Gary. You got to remember, Dak Prescott has been pretty much his entire career not a quarterback that throws a lot of picks. Check the numbers. You don't believe me. And if you look at the best quarterbacks in the NFL, the best ones, Dak's tied with in 4th place with Mahomes and a slew of other guys, up-and-coming guys, or already guys that are crowned elite. Josh Allen throws more interceptions. Joe Burrow throws more interceptions. David Carr throws more interceptions. All these guys throw more interceptions than Dak Prescott. Now, Dak throws as many interceptions as Mahomes, Herbert, and again, Trevor Lawrence and a bunch of other guys. And this is in the last 2 years, is it? 3 years? 3 years. So Dak is out there, since this offense got high-powered and we really started going, more throw crazy, and kind of Dak stood in there and had a new stage of his career. Dak's right there with the best of the best and keeping his interceptions a little lower than most when it comes to that crop of quarterbacks. So, sorry, I disagree with Madman on that one. I agree with James Gary, because I do believe Dak is a top 10 quarterback. Stop the narrative of Dak sucks. He's a top 10 quarterback. The risk is too much to go find another guy. The thing about Dak is you got to get he's the kind of quarterback, you got to get the great quarterback and all. Top 10, you could say top 12, top 15, doesn't matter. Trent Dilfer was top 25. They won a Super Bowl. Why? Defense and coaching. Plain and simple. I mean, of course, other factors, offensive line, running back. We got the ability. Dak's got more than enough guys around him. He just needs the coaching. The coach is going to help him not make, bad plays when there's bad routes being called by, route options by Kellen Moore, which screws up really what McCarthy wants to do. McCarthy's just scrapping those route options this year. He didn't like them, still don't like them, not going to use them. That's going to help Dak Prescott. Half his interceptions were off the hands or bad route running of the receivers. So cry about the interceptions. Most of those, half of those are on Dak, and the other half easily on the receiver, the route. And yes, I think a lot of these, you can complain about some other ones. You can complain about the coaching had a lot to do with those mistakes as well. A lot forcing Dak to have no options. I mean, yeah, he's going to eventually throw some picks when you're attacking down the field.
Exactly. So now, real quick, Madman's points earlier, by the way, he was saying you can try every time. Nothing will change. And I'm talking about last season, not like his overall career. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I mean, there's going to be some changes, though, this year, and that's for sure. And I think it's the biggest changes you're ever going to see with Dak Prescott on the offensive scheme, because Linehan was lame. Let's be real about this. Kellen Moore is inexperienced and bad at adjusting. McCarthy is the most experienced guy. He's known Dak for 3 years. Now he really knows Dak this offseason. That's it. McCarthy, Dak, got to make it happen. This is the future for both these guys this year. So I don't care about last year. I don't care about the interceptions went off Noah Brown's hands and bad routes by Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott made some mistakes. The receivers make some mistakes. No blocking. Horrible coaching. And, he still helped lead the Cowboy offense to the divisional round. But in the end, it wasn't enough from him. Not enough from the coaching. Not enough from everyone on this team. It's a team game. Sorry, guys. Dak is top 10 as far as, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I see it. It's obvious to me. He's a top 10 quarterback. It's just more about getting the right coaching around him. He can overcome a lot. We've already seen him overcome a lot of shitty coaching out there. Mark Hovsepian kicking the door. We win that 5 on it.
Ooh,
dropping that 5 on it.
Mahalo to you, Mark.
Yes. The stream boss gets another 5 on that to go to 43 points. He was in the 30s on this one. Back to 43. What did Mark H have to say?
He said, just got in. Lamb was injured?
Yep.
I heard about Tolbert and Cox. I really want to know if this is the usual Jerry Jones hype. Dak's good enough, but far from great.
Yeah, I mean, I think this season, I mean, again, top 10, would you say he's great? I mean, I think there's elite and then there's very good. I mean, in that top 10. So I don't think Dak is elite, but I think he's very good. If not, in this crop of quarterbacks, one of the better ones for sure. Top 10, whatever you call top 10. If you call that great, that's great. If you call great elite, then that's not Dak. But and so either way, I'm not going to argue words on this. Dak is more than enough to win a Super Bowl if coached properly. Simple as that. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the money. Spilled milk, not important to me. To win a Super Bowl, that's all that matters here. The best, again, guys, one of the least issues on this team is Dak Prescott. Now, you want to talk about the hype of Jerry Jones? That's one of the bigger issues on the team. Now, again, when it comes to Tolbert and it comes to Jabril Cox, I want to make sure Mark understands this is not coming from Jerry Jones. This is coming from the head coach, Mike McCarthy. When you look at his track record, he's spoken about guys like Terrence Steele having a big second year, and boom, he was right. Talking about, guys like right now, Sam Williams, Jalen Tolbert, you're looking at Jabril Cox, Eric, and again, he's a rookie. What's it? Eric, I can't believe I forgot his name. The receiver went up to grab Jr. What's it? Eric
Scott?
Yeah, Eric Scott Jr. was, another guy that has kind of jumped out in practice. McCarthy talked about that and keeps jumping out in practice. So it's interesting to see all the things that McCarthy has said in the past about certain players, and it comes to fruition. All the things he said about these crop of players is right now in practice. Definitely looking at they're having better practices than others. McCarthy's kind of, you're not hearing anything about Josh Ball. There's a reason for that. But you're hearing him talk about Matt Walesko. There's a reason for that. Matt Walesko is playing very well. And I don't think this is not Jerry Jones hype. This is Mike McCarthy speaking, I guess, his truth here. I don't know how you break it down, but I trust more in McCarthy's words than in Jerry Jones's. Let's put it that way.
Yes, I have to agree with you, regardless of however you want to call, whatever McCarthy's thoughts are.
Now, let me roll it, baby, because we got to talk about the final words from our players. And it's important because this is where that toast comes into play, baby. Everyone's like, what is this? What's this toast you're talking about? Well, Dak spoke today. And, he talked in detail about different things, but he talked in detail about this, what we're going to do on offense. And, of course, we all know about the world-famous Texas toast. We also know about the world-famous West Coast offense that McCarthy likes to run. So what did Dak Prescott say regarding, he talked to Jeremy Bergman from NFL.com, and he talked to him, and he basically talked to him about this Texas Coast offense. Explain, baby. What did Dak, I have Mike McCarthy on the screen. Yeah. Again, he runs that West Coast offense. We know this, right? When it comes to, again, West Coast offense with Green Bay, a lot of tendencies from that. So when you're looking at him there, okay, you see the West Coast offense. And then you got Texas, baby. Dak Prescott leading the way here with this Texas Toast offense. Explain. What did Dak Prescott have to say?
He said, "This is the Texas coast." Oh.
First, we got the man, Mark Hovsepian. He said, hold on. Let me let Mark Hovsepian speak first.
Does that mean Mark is Dak? But thank you, Mark. Mahalo to you.
With another 5 on it right there, baby.
He said, "I really hope Coach is right. To me, the bottom line is playing time. You can say a player is 100,000 times better. But if he gets no playing time, it means jack."
And that's the Sam Williams, the Jalen Tolbert's got to be. All I said about Tolbert, he has to be a number 4 for us. So playing time might not come so much, but when he's called upon, he better perform. That's what I expect from someone like Jalen Tolbert. From someone like Sam Williams, very similar. Not that he's a backup, but he's going to be playing a much more rotational role, and he's going to be getting more snaps. We talked about this yesterday. I think guys that losing snaps, Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, I think they go down a little bit. I think that Sam Williams goes up. I'm just saying, you can see Jabril Cox in here. If he's actually doing as good as Mike McCarthy thinks he's doing right now, then what I believe happens is that Jabril Cox gets more opportunities on the defense on certain downs, right? On a third down and 13, you got Micah rushing and you got Jabril Cox in coverage, right? So I think as a linebacker, I think that you're going to be seeing a lot of that kind of stuff. And these guys, hopefully, if they're doing their jobs, they should be getting some playing time this year. These second year and third year guys, I need to kind of have that next step forward. I think that's what we're going to see this year. That's just me. Oh, Marco, Big H, once again, dropping that $2 holler. And baby, actually saying that too.
Mahalo to you again,
he's in
Mark.
Second place on the overall board. What did he say with that J-Lou too?
He said, "How bad is CeeDee's injury? And is Pollard okay?" Yeah,
Pollard is, we talked about it earlier. Pollard is, Tony Pollard is just rehabbing and taking it easy. He's good to go. no worries on Pollard as far as being ready for training camp / regular season for sure. As far as CeeDee Lamb, we talked about it earlier in detail. Twisted his knee, going his looks like his left leg. Something happened in the air. Made a great one-handed catch, one of the plays of the day, but then got hurt, slow to get up, got worked on by the training staff. Came off the field for a couple plays, came back on, ran a play or two, couldn't continue anymore, kind of bent over. They worked on him multiple locations on the field throughout the rest of the practice, and multiple times he was worked on the field. But by the end of the practice, before it ended, he walked off on his own, ability there and his own weight. No problem. A little limpy, a little gimpy, but he was in good spirits on the sideline, joking and talking with teammates. And after the whole practice ended, his sources, his people, saying that he's fine, no issue, not even anything to worry about. So hopefully that stays true. I can only tell you what they're telling us, right, Mark? Some people saying it was a cramp. I'm waiting to hear a full confirmation, maybe tomorrow from McCarthy, that CeeDee Lamb's going to not practice tomorrow, which is expected. Let's let him wait to be good 100% for training camp. That's what I want to hear tomorrow. So he'll be fine for that. So anyways, now as we continue, baby, 50 points, by the way, from Marco Seppian. What did the man Dak Prescott say today about that Texas Coast offense? Not West Coast, not Texas toast. Yeah, you're seeing it here. We got some new bread in the house, some garlic bread. Texas Coast offense. What did Dak Prescott say about this?
He said,
that was interesting.
Well, sorry about that. No, I was still reading Mark's comment there. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's go ahead and roll on to what Dak had to say.
About the Texas Coast.
Well,
yes.
We already read the... Oh, no, that's right. We started it. That's right. You're right. I forgot.
Now we got
in my mind, I'm like, we started it, and we got interrupted halfway. So, but thank you, Mark. Appreciate you with another $2 holler. And he said, a cramp? Take some Midol, damn it. Go Cowboys.
No comment. Listen, some people are saying it's a cramp. I hope it is. And I'm not talking about menstrual cramps.
Is what I'm
talking
saying.
about like a heat exhaustion cramp. Either way, just get them. Just let them sit tomorrow, and we'll wait 5 weeks to get on the training camp for practice then. Right.
So let's go ahead and rewind and touch on what Dak Prescott said.
Yes.
Quote: "This is the Texas Coast. We just renamed that the quarterbacks. It's got definitely some West Coast principles, but has a little bit of what we've done in the past." And just marrying them together with a lot of detail and maybe, in a sense, a system that's not out there.
I mean, I personally love this. This sounds like again, you get the Mike McCarthy West Coast offensive principles, right? Mm-hmm. With Kellen Moore playbook there, about 60% of that, right? Which is, we'll just call it the Cowboys playbook, which is Texas. Texas toast, no. West Coast, no. Texas coast. Hence why my cute little picture here of Dak Prescott and holding that Texas Coast box right there for hopefully be serving it down the throats of all our opponents this year. For this offense cooking with Dak, and CeeDee Lamb will be back. That's the hope.
Can you smell what the Cowboys are cooking?
I'm smelling something for sure. Some Texas Coast offense.
So Dak Prescott also had this to say as far as CeeDee Lamb, saying, quote, "I'll say it. I believe it. I think he'll be the best receiver in this league, honestly. Confident guy, very smart. He's really only scratched the surface in what he's capable of doing, and this is just the beginning for him."
Now we'll get another great set of words there from Dak to CD. Look at that. It's like,
I'm also
yeah,
glad
let's do
today
this.
was not the ending for him.
Exactly.
So, and as far as Brandon Cooks and his speed specifically, right? Dak said it's beautiful. Yeah, real speed. For him to be able to do it every play, every route, the start of every route, the cornerback's defense, they don't know what they're getting. It all looks the same. I'm thankful he's here.
Man, I love the sound of that. Man, that makes me excited.
We are thankful
Brandon Cooks changes everything on that offense. It gives other guys more abilities. It gives him more ability to do things. Dak more ability to do things. And, of course, Mike McCarthy calling the right plays to do things with a more, kind of a less easy to read offense. Woo! It's exactly the opposite we had at Kellen Moore.
Yeah. And since we just touched on Cooks, apparently, like you mentioned earlier, Dak and Cooks have something cooking up. Right? Cooks said Dak is working on something, wherever it is, I'll be there. And Dak responded, to that, just saying it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Again, guys, this could be, again, I'm not going to overstep it because, injuries happen, things happen, but with CeeDee Lamb number 1, Gallup number 3, and Cooks basically floating around there anywhere you want to go. I mean, Brandon Cooks is going to be a guy that it's going to hurt opposing defenses and help everybody else around our offense.
Yes,
I love
and several reports are saying that today, Dak and Cooks specifically, the chemistry seems to be instantaneous, right? They had, and I know it's just, minicamp, but still, you can see the chemistry. You can see them playing off of each other. And again, the speed is going to help Dak tremendously there.
Dak to help the offense. And again, we saw a 60-yard touchdown pass by a picture-perfect pass from Dak to Brandon Cooks, full speed, Dak hitting him in stride and burning a double coverage in a seam route. That's what he's going to do. Take the top off the defense, stretch your defense. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to see how Dan Quinn adjusts to this, because we're going to see some of that this year. It's a good test with Brandon Cooks on the other side, right, for both sides of the ball. I love it.
Brandon Cooks actually had some comments about his speed. So he said, quote, "It was good just to be able to get a little bit of the taste of just really how Dak can. I mean, he can throw any ball. To be able to experience that a little bit here before we break off in the summer, that was definitely a good note to be able to end on."
Love it. I love it.
And like I said, deep touchdown pass,
60 yards, man.
To Cooks, beautiful.
And Cook's been turning it up. I mean, speed-wise, he let it out today, but he's been reliable and in tune with Dak from the start. Fantastic. You didn't hear that about James Washington. See what I mean? Between James Washington and Brandon Cooks, I mean, night and day, guys. Apples and oranges completely. And this is what I think Mark and I were talking about last year. Like, why are we going after James fucking Washington, a 4th or 5th or 6th receiver at best? Right now, he's not even in the NFL right now. I think he's a training camp guy with Giants last year, and this year, I think he's the Saints now in training camp, but as a practice squad type of guy. That compared to Brandon Cooks, 4 1,000-yard years. I'm sorry, 6 1,000-yard years in 9 years, 6 1,000-yard seasons in 9 seasons. And 4 of those are 4 different teams, 4 different quarterbacks. I mean, it's incredible. So again, with Dak, it's just easy for Brandon Cooks to dominate with Dak Prescott in this offense.
So I have a quick little comment here from Ferguson.
Tight end talk here, yeah. A couple other guys spoke, but we'll probably get those trickling down tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get the rest of the quotes out to you guys. We're wrapping it up.
Ferguson today said, "I'm a power guy. I love running power and having power, and this really fires me up. The whole front 7, the tight ends, and the O-line. I think we're a lot more connected right now."
Ooh, man, I love that. You know what that means? I mean, I know with the running and the power and all that stuff, but this just means that the Cowboys, that's why we got all these, that's why we brought in these tight ends. That's why we brought in this McCarthy kind of mindset of kind of, maybe power running. But I think it's all facade. I think it's power running when you need to. It's using the 3 tight ends when you have a 14-point lead and you want to rest the defense a little bit. That's why I think McCarthy's looking at this. Now, the O-line, the tight ends connected, that means blocking. And then, of course, all 3 tight ends can go out there and catch the ball as well. So we got versatility in game planning here and play calling. That's what McCarthy wants. So that's why Ferguson, he can block, he can do power block, run blocking, zone blocking, but he can also go out and catch the ball. And that's what makes our offense good. It should make our offense very difficult to kind of pinpoint. And I wish we did this. I wish Kellen Moore was able to see this, because he could use some of that creativity to help the team we got right now with a lot of weapons. You got to use them. No, you don't become very predictable, which is what Kellen Moore did. And hopefully, again, I'm hoping that with Mike McCarthy, the added player here, and Brandon Cooks, and whatever McCarthy's planning to do with the tight end situation, we do the right things. Anything we do, if we do it right, it will work out for us. If we don't do it right, we take this and mix it with that and it don't work, it blows up the offense, and that could hurt us big time. So we'll see. I do trust the experience of Mike McCarthy over the lame Lenahan play calling, and of course the inexperienced and pussied Kellen Moore kind of a non-adjusting playbook. Not just me. The receiver route option is horrible, according to McCarthy, and you can see that. From last year, you can see the difference this year with the way McCarthy's kind of taking control of this offense and the way that Dak Prescott has taken control of the playbook and be able to master everything in it. That's what McCarthy is saying it's looking like with Dak Prescott in, leading the way there on offense.
So, and real quick, guys, the final little blurb here that I have is from what's wrong?
No, I'm listening. The little blurb.
Yeah, this is the last thing I have here, and it's from Jonathan Hankins. He actually
big man Hankins.
Yeah, he spoke a little bit today, and one of the things that I really like about the fact it's not even what he said necessarily. It's the excitement in which he said it with, guys. Again, a guy like Hankins, he's been around the block, quite a few of them, in fact, right? So for him to be so excited, so hyped, really, to play under Dan Quinn, he basically is like revitalized with the addition of Mozzie Smith as well. So it's
man.
like all these pieces coming together.
You gotta love to hear it. But I also love to hear what Mark Hosepian has to say with that 5 on it.
Woo.
Dropping that $5 holler. What did the man say?
He said, this team is really full of talent and good depth.
Agree.
Just the O-line, that's a huge hole and question mark. I truly believe games are won in the trenches. And that's why the Cowboys, out of all the decisions and moves and possibilities, they went with Mozzie Smith.
Yep, and re-signed Hankins.
Dan Quinn's got their ear, and he said it. He whispered it to them.
He did, no, and that's 100% true. And this time the Joneses actually didn't clown show it up, and they listened. And they heard it, and they did something about it.
And by the way, Mark followed that up with the $2 holler.
Oh.
Thank you, Mark.
There it is. Ooh, that scared me. Even though I knew it was coming, it still scared me. Much love, Mark, with that J-Lou 1-2. What did he have to say, baby?
Why didn't Hankins sign a longer contract?
It's interesting. I think maybe Hankins trying, maybe himself, he didn't want to get a longer contract. He wanted to kind of see if he gets more money after this year. Remember, this contract for Hankins was mighty cheap.
Yeah.
It was like, what, $1.5 million? It was almost a veteran minimum
Can
deal.
I tell you what I think actually happened?
Yeah, go ahead. No, it's not.
That is the Dan Quinn discount.
Well, I think it's a combination of both. But
I'm just saying, like, yes, of course anyone can play anywhere or whatever, but like I said, Hankins specifically, you know what? This is why I said let's go ahead and get to what he said.
Hankins,
As far as Mozzie joining the team officially, he said, quote, "Dude is probably one of the strongest guys on the team. I'm definitely honored to be able to mentor him, show him the way, and try to help him develop. This D-line room is nasty." Every time I talk about it, I'm just so excited, and not just to talk about it, but to be a part of it. We're working hard, getting each other better, and we're some bad motherfuckers.
Woo! I love Jonathan Hankins. I wish, Mark, we would have signed him for longer. I don't think he wanted to sign for longer. I think he wanted to try to get more than $1.5 million.
I think
somewhere else.
I think on both sides.
Yeah. No, I think Dan Quinn also made it a good luxury for him, a good thing for him to come back to as well, right?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't think our front office had any desire to sign him longer than 1 year. And I don't think that Hankins himself had any desire to sign for longer than the 1 year.
It goes both ways.
Because both sides have a vested interest in keeping their options open for next year in their particular cases.
Yeah, and when Mozzie Smith want to get more snaps as a first pick, right? He's going to be replacing Hankins next year. That's the feel, I think, from the front office, I think, from this whole situation. So I think that's the reason you're right, maybe I think it's a not double-edged sword, but it's more of a, it's a compromise on both sides. Yes, Dan Quinn there is obviously a big reason why you come back. You were successful in this defense. We need you. But nobody else was giving him the big money anymore. So, he decided to take probably the cheaper contract than he wanted to with the Cowboys 1 year. The Cowboys give him a cheaper contract. He does well again. Hey, maybe they'll give him another cheap one. Maybe they'll give him a little more. He makes a little bit more bank. Or maybe he does well enough that he goes somewhere else to play for a lot more. We drop a comp pick to us. But the point is that it doesn't hurt either side. It helps Hankins to have a 1 year deal. Yep. And it helps the Cowboys have a 1 year deal depending on what we want to do going forward next year. But we've got Mozzie, and he's going to be the starter next season, in my opinion, no matter what happens. Bohanna might have to play up a little better, maybe learn. Mozzie and Bohanna learn from Hankins, absorb everything you can as we go forward into the future of their careers here, right? So that's it, baby. That's a wrap on my side. I mean, make sure you remind everybody what they got to do here when it comes to the channel, the stream today, everything.
If I'm not mistaken, you got to hit the like.
Hell yeah.
You got to subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell as well. Easiest, simplest, best way to make sure you never miss a live stream. But because YouTube has its moments, make sure to hop into our Discord or follow us basically on any social media at MyCowboysFamily. Yep. We always post there before we go live, so that way you guys never miss a stream.
Yeah, don't forget also, guys, the way you can help out the channel. You got super chats, you got the super chats, you got the membership, you got gifting memberships. Much love the skeptical fan and everybody in that. But also 4 other ways to help the channel out, baby.
The Cash App, Money Sound, My Cowboys Family, the Venmo, the PayPal for our international friends, and last but not least, that Streamlabs link.
And never forget the people that are running the show here. Sponsor of the week and the king of the Cash App, David S. Much love to him. Took it at the last moment last week. Took the crown, took the top spot. Much love to our sponsor of the week. And much love to the Stream Boss, who's adding more to that with another 5 on it, all the way from Hawaii. Mark Hovsepian dropping the $5 holler. What
Mark
did the
is
man?
Basically the Stream Boss. I think it's the longest standing record
13, ever. I think 13 out of 14 weeks or 12 out of 13 weeks. This man's dominated this board for over 3 months, almost continuously. What did the man say as he adds to now 64 points on the Stream Boss? What did Mark Hovsepian have to say?
He said 3 major clown shows. The tight end over Osiris. If you truly believe Dak's your guy, extend him now.
Yeah.
Hankins is proven. Offer him more and to keep him longer.
Maybe so. Hankins might have not wanted a little bit more. He wants to double that up. Cowboys weren't willing to do that, But, the tight end over Osiris, to be announced right now, not looking like the right move by the Cowboys. I agree. And I've always said that. The Cowboys liked Dak 3 years before they extended him. Why didn't they extend them when they wanted him to, 3 years earlier? We could have gone for $28, $29, $30 million. No, now we got to get $40 million on him, waiting 3 extra years. So if you like him, you extend him now, take those cap breaks now for the next couple of years. You do a Hurts deal and throw that, into some 3 or 4 years of dead cap money when you don't even feel it anymore. That's the right way to go. And, the Joneses, they still are known for one thing here on this channel. No matter the good they do, we do say it. But we can't get rid of this freaking bad, the clown show portion of things. That's the most depressing and upsetting thing to me here on My Cowboys Family when it comes to this front office. I want to see more from them. Let's see. We saw a little more at least this year. A little more.
So let me go ahead and do the final shout-outs here as we wrap things up.
And I just wanted to quickly say again, Jason Renfro is currently the leader in the Cash App. He's got $1 holler in there. So the leader, Jason Renfro, $1 is the lead right there right now in the Cash App. And the overall leader, yes, gifting leader as well over Jason Renfro, I think by 4 or 5. Skeptical Fan there. And also on the overall board, Skeptical Fan still in first place, although it's getting closer. Mark Hovsepian's getting closer. Trying to that sponsor of the week. We got a couple of days to go. Tomorrow, the last day of OT of mandatory minicamp. We're probably gonna take Fan Friday off, guys. Got family time there. Saturday, Sunday, we're gonna we'll finish up the week strong with a couple of live streams wrapping things up as we head into the long dark break here for about 5 weeks before training camp. So much love to you, Mark Hovsepian. Much love to everybody here joining us here tonight for another discussion on our Dallas Cowboys. And I think you got to do some shout-outs, baby, as we get ready to roll out of here. I wanted to make sure I shouted everybody out that deserves it. The sponsor of the week, the Cash App King, the leaders, Mark Hovsepian, the Stream Boss, and on and on. Cannot do this without your guys' love from above or your comments in the chat. Drop those emojis if you got them in the membership. We got the membership's almost at 60, I think, right now. So keep it growing, guys. I cannot tell you guys how much it helps and how much we appreciate the dropping the love, but also helping other family members, get those advantageous memberships here on MCF. Mark Hovsepian, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it. I think he might be taking over the lead here. I'll do this after the stream. And I'll fix it for tomorrow's stream if he's in first place. Second place for sure, maybe in first. Getting closer to Skeptical Fan. What did the man, Mark Hovsepian, have to say?
Extend him now and free up the money to get some better players. Hell, Hankins is easily worth $3 or $4 million a year. Any good O-lineman available after cuts?
We'll see. We'll have to see about the cuts, right? When that eventually happens, I'm sure the Cowboys will be looking. But right now, Dalton Reisner is the only guy I can think of.
Well, hey, if we're looking for kickers in the XFL, why not offensive linemen?
Hey, maybe, but those guys are probably worse than TJ Bass.
That was a joke.
Okay, well, no joke here, guys. We have to get out of here for the night, and so let's keep it rolling here with the shout-outs and the good nights, right? The last comments and the shout-outs.
Tyler, take it easy. Have a great night. Jason Renfro,
yes,
much love.
The leader.
Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett, Scorpio, representing, of course.
Yeah.
Mark Hovsepian, mahalo to you. Rolando Rodriguez in the house. Harold Jones, hello. Madman, much love. We have Landlord from Wakanda in the house. Tommy Montoya, hello, what's up? Serbo Joe.
Ooh, and how about Mark Hovsepian once again with a $2 holler saying our kicker had one bad game and was good all season. Well, he had 2 bad games because the second playoff game he also missed his extra point there. But I also think that, there's a good chance that a good, reliable veteran kicker will not make those mistakes that Brett Maher did. And again, he had a good season, but we know his downfalls. I'm good with not going back to Maher for a third time. You know what I mean? Enough of getting back to that same kicking well. Give me some new blood in there. And by the way, baby, with these drops that Mark just had the last two, in first place officially, I've confirmed it on the overall board. So much love. This Marco Sepian coming for that sponsor of the week, just jumping, Mr. Skeptical Fan. Okay, that's it.
Oh, sorry, no, I thought you were gonna
71 points from Marco Sepian on the stream boss.
There we go. So, and again, I think I did.
You did all the shout-outs?
All the shout-outs, but just in case, let me keep going here. Brandon James Shea, Tommy Montoya, Landlord from Wakanda, James Gary, much love.
Yeah, Maher's gone, guys. He's been released already. We got Vizcaíno. That's the only kicker we got.
Aztec Aguilar 04, The Lunatic, much love to you as well. Mike Aldana representing, and yeah, that's actually as far back as I can go.
Oh, baby. And you know how this stream is going to go now from here on out, baby. Why do our crazy asses do this for 2 hours a night, basically, here on My Cowboys Family for almost 6 years, guys? We're less than a month. We're weeks away.
I know.
From our 6th year anniversary. It's going to be a big one here on My Cowboys Family in a couple weeks. July 1st. Be there or be square. So, baby, before we can drop out of here, and what we got to do here, why do we do this each and every night here, crazily, on My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue.
Yeah.
That silver too.
Yeah.
And that star over everything.
Yeah! Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here in MCF, we're always repping that star over everything. And here in My Cowboys Family for almost 6 years and beyond, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever, as always. And say it with us loud and proud. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and be moving on. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge and chat all night long. Cannot do this without your back and forth, your thoughts on our Cowboys. And also, truly appreciate your love, donations, drops of love from above, memberships, gifting, all that good stuff, guys. Cannot do that. Cannot do this for as long as we do almost on a nightly without your love and support on that side. The best fans of all YouTube. It's you. Thank you, family. On that note here, My Cowboys Family, all good things must come to an end as we get ready to clock out officially, drop out of here officially, and relock and reload for a new show tomorrow, capping the OT, I guess you could say the off-season's phase 1, 2, and 3 work. And, of course, ending it all tomorrow with mandatory minicamp day 3. We'll give you the recap, give you the ins and outs, the updates. Join us for tomorrow. But before we can do all that, we got to drop out of here for the night. So, baby, what we got to do? What do we got to do here on MCF before we drop out officially for the evening?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. It's a wrap here on MCF. The wife and I, you guys, the family. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Much love to all of you guys. And, of course, remind every single one of those Eagle fans out there some basic mathematical facts. No matter where you are on this earth, this planet, or universe, remind every crying little green Eagle fan, 5 is always greater than 1, baby. Them facts right there. Those are facts. Crying, cry, Eagles, cry. You know how we do here, guys. No lie. Appreciate you guys repping with us here. And, of course, talking about all the day's news, info, and updates. Day 2 of minicamp. We saw it here. We saw the Texas Coast offense, West Coast, Texas Toast, merging of both those things. With Brandon Cooks, cooking with Dak. Ooh, that's going to be great. Now, knock on wood, CeeDee is fine. Hopefully that's okay. He's good to go for training camp, right? That's the expectation. That's this next. And, of course, we added a new player here, edge rusher there, Ben from the Colts. As a basically, replacing maybe a practice squad guy. Either way, we talked about that and so much more here tonight, right here on MCF, My Cowboys Family, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing here, right here, right now, right here forever on My Cowboys Family. Never forget that everyone, please stay safe. Much love to all you guys out there chilling and watching. See you back here tomorrow for another one. Much love to all. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.